Remember when I said in the last season that I didn't want to play Brayden again if the opportunity presented itself? Well, guess what? Here he is again. I honestly don't know what the commissioner was thinking when they decided to recruit the participants for this season of the PAC League, but yeah, this dude is back, and boy has he not changed one bit, and it's actually kind of annoying that that's the case. But before we get into that, honestly, we're going to actually just go over this match that I was able to capture before something once again, or I should have probably expected it, but I'm not really sure, honestly, especially given the way it happened. But we'll get to that when we get to it, obviously. But anyways, so this is the match with Brayden once again. And yeah, he's going to lead off with a Rotom. I'm going to lead off with a Mew. He's going to go for the Trick. And once again, I'm going to get a Choice Scarf, which is kind of interesting considering that happened with the match with King Soza earlier, yeah. And here I'm just going to go for Psychic. So because of the damage, because it's a 2-hit KO, I decided to just go for Psychic again. I didn't want to over-predict, obviously, so going for Psychic again was in my interest here. I was thinking about it just to make sure that I actually didn't overthink things either, honestly, or I was maybe thinking that maybe I could just actually see if I can predict him, but I decided not to ultimately just because, I don't know, he might do what King Soza did and just pick up on my attempts at over predicting, and therefore he'll catch me before I even manage to do anything basically, and then I'm the one that's going to be at a disadvantage afterwards. But anyways, he is going to hard switch into the Scissor, which was the reason why I was considering switching out. But the thing is that I kind of wasn't really too sure in what I could send in. I mean, I could send out Drapion, but what if he doesn't switch out is the thing? I'd take unnecessary damage, which is not what I wanted, obviously. But now here he is with the Scissor, and now I'm here trying to think what I should switch out, because Scissor with the right set, I don't have very much switch-ins to, so if I have to lose something, I have to choose what I want to lose here. I decide, given the mon that I have right now, which is Mew, given that it's full HP, I really wanted to believe that he was going to go for the U-turn. The Bullet Punch is also possible, but I kind of really just wanted to hope that he did not go for the Bullet Punch on the Mew, because if he did, then he would just take another Psychic if I were to stay in, you know? And thankfully he does go for the U-turn, so that's good for me right there. He is going to get the switch advantage though, so that could be bad depending on whether or not he has something on my team, or something on his team that can, you know, check Clefable. Which I think he does have, actually. I just don't remember what it was, actually, because I wasn't paying attention to his team, honestly. It's because the thing is that this match is it's just one thing, but what I need to talk about Brayden, honestly, is actually a whole different thing, honestly. So I kind of wasn't being very mindful of this recording, but anyways. So, okay, he's going to go into the Rotom. And I'm just going to go for, I believe, the Stealth Rocks question mark? Oh, no, actually, because he has Trick, obviously, so I decided to switch back in the Mew to see if he wants to go for Trick again. I think what he ends up going for here is possibly the Hydro Pump. Oh no, he goes for the Trick again, okay, but yeah, he goes for a Trick, because he wants his Scarf back, I assume. Gave me the Tanga Berry again. I guess he also wanted to get my leftovers too, which I have on the Clefable. He probably figured I have it. He's going to go for the Volt Switch now because he got his Scarf back. And he can choose his move before he actually gets locked into it, since he just got the Scarf, basically. He's going to send in Blissey, which I go for the Shadow Ball. It's immune to it. So here, obviously, I have to switch out, but I also have to consider what I want to switch out here as well. I think, okay, so I end up switching in the Drapion. No, not the Drapion. I actually end up switching in the Clefable, actually. Not the Drapion, stupid. The Clefable. I think here, because this is a Blissey, he's actually going to go for the Seismic Toss. I decided to go for the Rocks, is what I wanted to say, but yeah, this Blissey goes for Seismic Toss, which I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know Blissey could get Seismic Toss in this game, especially considering all the moves that we were not able to get in this game because they were removed for their iterations for some reason, whereas here, this Blissey can still get Seismic Toss, which I could have sworn was a move to remove. I don't know if this move is even natural in Blissey, but I never thought it was, honestly. Just given that it's a fighting type move and it's Seismic Toss, I always was so accustomed to that move being exclusive to match up unless it was a move to remove. So the fact that it's still in this game is actually kind of surprising, I'll be honest with you. But anyways, yeah, the Rocks, yeah, I went for them and now I just have to see what I want to send in. I think I end up switching the Mew back in, but I'm not too sure. It was either that or I just stayed in with the Clefable, but I think I switched. Yeah, I switched into Mew. This is just in case he wants to go for the, what's it called, the trick again. I don't think he goes for it here though, but I switched in Mew regardless just in case he does go for it. He goes for the Hydro Pump, which is fine with me honestly. It's gonna do a fair amount of damage. I think he could just finish me off here actually. Okay, but I don't let the Rotom take out my Mew just yet. I think I send in Dusknoir here actually to actually, you know, take the Hydro Pump. I wanted to believe, given the bulk that I have invested on this Dusknoir, that it will be able to take the Hydro Pump shall it come. Because I do believe it's going to go into it. And I now know that it's Choice Scarf again because he tricked earlier, which gave it back its Choice Scarf. So it's definitely locked in the Hydro Pump. Here, I'm surprised at the amount of damage it actually did considering it's not Choice Specs, honestly. Like, Hydro Pump is stab on Rotom, and the special attack is pretty good. But, I don't know, I just didn't expect it to do that much on Dusknoir, because Dusknoir is typically bulky, you know. I think if I ran its Spadef invested, it probably would have actually taken this hit much better. But anyways, here I go for the Shadow Snake just to get some damage on this Rotom. He's gonna go for the Hydro Pump, which is fine with me. Because I feel like I could at least live it, yeah, which I do, thankfully. Now here, I'm kind of in a tight situation here. Because here, yeah, I can go for Shadow Snake to finish off this Rotom. But I'm also thinking, like, what if he switches in the Scissor here expecting another Shadow Sneak, which he will definitely take well, and then he can just hit me with literally anything. I still don't know what set the Scissor is either, honestly. So this makes things very, very complicated for me. So I'm just thinking, do I want to just finish this thing off? Ultimately, yeah, I decided to finish this thing off. And unfortunately for me, he does end up predicting me to go for another Shadow Sneak, but rather than going into Scissor, he ends up going into Tangrowth, which, yeah, if I went for Fire Punch, I could have actually still gotten damage on this, honestly. But since this thing is here, I also have another neat trick up in my sleeve with this Dusknoir, and you probably already saw it, obviously. This is a Tangrowth, obviously. You know these things are usually able to take all sorts of hits very, very well, and you're just here like, thinking, oh great, I can't do anything. But this Dusknoir can do something at the very least, especially now that it's down in HP. But this will also come down to whether or not I can outspeed it, which, you know, Tangrowth is slightly higher in base speed than Dusknoir. But if he runs this quiet in order to, like, I don't know, avoid some Trick Room shenanigans, then I should be faster. And from the looks of it, it in fact is. So just by that alone, I was able to outspeed this. Otherwise, this Tangrowth would have just taken me out with a Giga Drain. He doesn't even end up going for Giga Drain though. He ends up going for the knockoff end to knock off my leftover so that I don't get any more passive recovery, and also so that I guess I can like go down for sure as he starts attacking me here. So I went for the Pace Play just to cut its HP in half, kind of. So now the goal is going to be basically to go for the Fire Punch, just to get as much damage as possible. I don't want to go for Ice Punch because obviously that's still resisted by Scissor, and this is only to catch the Scissor if he happens to switch it in, which I kind of doubt at this point. He ends up going for the Leech Seed, which is kind of fine, honestly, because this gives me another chance to possibly, you know, go for more damage on this Tangrowth. Because this Tangrowth, getting it as damaged as possible is very, very important, especially for late game. Because he'll be able to switch it out and get Regenerator, sure, but he's not going to be at full HP, or even high HP, honestly. He's going to be still kind of like slightly above half, probably. So, yeah, obviously I have to keep going for Fire Punch until I go down with Dusknoir. Here he's going to finally take me out with a Giga Drain, which is fine. Gets a crit, which kind of makes me glad I didn't switch out on the off chance I was considering it, honestly, because obviously something on my team would have taken a crit and that would have sucked. He gets leftovers though, so here, I think here is where I end up sending in the Lucario. And this is actually where the match is kind of huge for me, actually, because like here, this is basically a risk I'm making here, because I know that Tangrowths can get Earthquake, but I also feel confident that most Tangrowths are usually bulk invested, which means that even if he has Earthquake, I don't think he one-shots me here. So I decided to stay in here and just go for the Nasty Plot. I was also considering finishing off this Tangrowth on the off chance he did have the Earthquake, but again, I had to consider the fact that it's probably defense invested, which means it's not gonna KO me in one hit. It may not even do half, or it might, I don't know, because his attack stat is very, very powerful, Tangrowth's that is. But regardless, he ends up switching out anyways, and he goes into the Rotom, which is actually amazing for me. Takes rocks, so it doesn't go down, which allows me to set up, not take any damage, and now I can just simply go for whatever, honestly. As for whether I can sweep his entire team from this point is basically a whole nother thing, because right here you're going to see I'm going to go for the Vacuum Wave because I know this thing is Choice Scarfed. And obviously I don't want it to hit me with a Hydro Pump on the off chance I need to take hits from later mons that will not go down in one hit, such as Blissey or maybe even Scissor, I don't know. Depends on the sets obviously. But here, this Rotom goes down. I think the next mon he sends in is the Dragonite, which in a way I kind of wasn't expecting, but maybe at the same time I was. Because I think he could have sent in Donphan here just to threaten me out, but he didn't do that. So here I just go for the Flash Cannon, obviously. Oh, I think the reason he didn't send in Donphan was because the rock's so sturdy broken and then Flash Cannon goes down, obviously. So yeah, that makes sense why he sent out the Dragonite. But Dragonite can't really do anything, obviously. I think he was hoping that I'd be like an adamant Lucario, and if this thing was Jolly, it was probably going to outspeed me with an Earthquake. But that didn't turn out to be the case, so I'm Gucci on that front. Now here he's going to send in this Blissey. Now this Blissey, yeah, we all know Blissey is like one of the most obnoxious mons ever, because even though I am at +2 with this Lucario, and I think I was also expert built on this. I might not have been, I'm not really sure. But it might have been Wise Glasses actually. But either way, at +2, a Stab Aura Sphere is still not enough to take out a Blissey. And this Blissey in a way gets kind of lucky, because he goes for the Flamethrower, doesn't do half, but he does get the burn. And I can only assume that burn was because of the 20% chance of Flamethrower burning thanks to the Serene Grace ability that Blissey can get. Because I'm pretty like convinced that that's the ability he has on this Blissey. So here, I don't care if I got the burn, honestly. I just want to get rid of this Blissey, just so that it's not around to spam Soft Boiled or whatever the hell this thing can get in terms of recovery. But yeah, down goes the Blissey. So this Lucario is putting in quite the amount of work. Unfortunately, the sweep is basically going to end right here, because he's going to now send in the Scissor. And that Scissor, unfortunately for me, is actually, I'm pretty sure it's Choice Banded, honestly. Takes rocks damage, which is fine with me. I think I could just send in Guard Jump here and go for Earthquake, honestly. I think even if he sends in the Tangrowth, I can just, you know, switch out and go into Drapion afterwards and then go for Knockoff. Threaten it with a Poison Jab and force a switch in, basically. However, here, well, first let's see how this all plays out, obviously. He does Bullet Punch. Given that I resist this and it still took me out nonetheless, tells me that this is banded, because I feel like if just Stab and Technician boosted isn't enough to take out Lucario. I could be wrong on that, honestly, but I was convinced that this was a banded set, honestly. Now here he took out my Lucario, and this is where the unexpected happens, basically. As I'm deciding my mon, the game mysteriously enough disconnects, basically. And as you can see here, I'm just moving, seeing what's going on, and I, for some reason, get kicked out, which is kind of odd, honestly, because for me, like, the connection wasn't really bad, honestly. And you know that if the connections are bad, usually we tend to reconstruct these matches, like wherever they have, like, you know, from wherever they disconnect, or start from the beginning as well, as long as both parties agree. However, oh boy, now let's get into the elephant in the room. Frickin' Brayden. Okay, so obviously, because of the fact that the recording there shows that I got kicked out, I cannot really accuse Brayden of, you know, having purposely DC'd here. However, this dude is also, like, as soon as this happened, he straight up accused me of having been the one to DC. Which, obviously, why would I do that, honestly? Like, I make content on YouTube, obviously, so that I can showcase my matches, not so that they disconnect and then get headaches afterwards trying to reconstruct everything. Unless it results in a match being finished, which in this case, it did not happen that way, unfortunately. Because what happened was that after this guy tried accusing me of all this stuff, I told him I didn't do anything. And then I just suggested to him, let's just continue from where the match DC'd. Make sure that the hazards are up just like they were before he DC'd, obviously. Then I had to make sure that his mons take certain amount of damage, obviously. And we did all that, and we continued the match as such. The only problem is that this guy decided to make a sneaky play and actually bring back the Blissey, which was already taken down. So I don't know why he did that, obviously. The worst part of it is that he tried to like play it off as if he forgot, like he didn't know that his Blissey went down or some shit like that. I had that portion recorded, but unfortunately I had to I think I ended up deleting it because I was once again frustrated and was once again considering not showcasing any of the matches that I had in this season of the PAC League. The only thing that really drove me to showcase the matches regardless was just because I like Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl for what it is, obviously. And despite the 20-minute timer being terrible, obviously, I still like to do the matches. And if I can get matches that don't go to 20 minutes, obviously it'd be nice to showcase them regardless. But yeah, so after this, after this, I think he started complaining about I don't even know why we're doing this because we're still the one that DC'd, and I'm just like, dude, I did not do shit. And how do you say, I lashed at him. I told him all kinds of shit because he was just trying so hard to accuse me of all this when I didn't even do anything. And then to make matters worse, I think the commissioner stepped in to tell us basically, hey, why don't you guys just start from turn 1? And I think actually, before we did that, I think we already had that idea basically, and we tried that. But what happened was that there was some RNG that came into play while we were reconstructing the match that wasn't supposed to be there at all because it wasn't there originally. So because of that, I told the guy, okay, there was a crit here that was not supposed to be in the original match, so we have to start again. And basically this dude started getting all pissed about it because I can only assume he was expecting us to just restart the match and whatever new RNG kicks in to let it play out that way. Basically giving Brayden a chance to beat me, which is terrible, and never would I submit myself to that. And from there, unfortunately, I think it was then after this that the commissioner then stepped in and then told us that we should do that, obviously, that we should start the game from turn 1. But the problem is that neither of these two, neither the commissioner nor Brayden, agreed to the fact that we need to do this match. If we're gonna reconstruct this match, we have to do it in a way that basically has it culminate to where the match DC'd without any new RNG taking place, because we know that RNG happens all the time, but we have to make sure that it doesn't happen. It has to make sure that it doesn't become it doesn't turn into a situation where my opponent now has an advantage, honestly, especially when I naturally had the advantage. So, but unfortunately, neither side agreed, and the next thing that happened after this was I just got a DM from the commissioner asking me if I was gonna do the match or not, and that clearly told me that this guy did not do anything to Brayden. He did not discipline and tell him hey, don't do this or something, and nor did he ask him if he agreed to what I said earlier about the whole, if we're gonna reconstruct this match, it better be the way it was originally intended to be, at least as close as possible, but without the RNG taking any factors, because if so, then that'd be kind of cheating, So, yeah, unfortunately because of that, I just decided, no, I'm not going to battle him. Basically, after this recording, I just decided I'm not going to battle with this guy, because what happens is that this guy is such a headache, honestly. He's not, he's basically ruining the experience for me. In fact, he already did, honestly. Last season, he tarnished it a bit. But in this season, he just straight up ruins it, because he complains so much and just starts accusing me of having DC'd a lot, and it's just dude, I kind of want to rip this guy's hair off, honestly, just by saying all this, but it's just, man, it was terrible, honestly. And you know what's odd? I was actually looking this guy up on YouTube as well to see if anyone has ever had this kind of experience with Brayden, and I was actually impressed, or not impressed, but surprised basically that turned out to be the case, even though I probably shouldn't be surprised given this guy's I guess you can say dirty ways of handling situations. But I found a video on YouTube where a guy supposedly had a similar case with Brayden, where he put himself in a position where he was actually gonna sweep Brayden, and because there was a DC, he ended up Like I don't know what went down in the league. Obviously, I just found this video on YouTube and read the description, and the description kind of explains what happened. Supposedly they had to start the match all over again, and with that being the case, Brayden ended up winning the match that was supposedly supposed to be won by the other guy that was getting ready to sweep him with a Slurpuff. Apparently, that's what I was able to grasp. But yeah, so I was thinking, wait a minute, if this happened to him, then how do I know Brayden didn't actually DC here and, like, you know, try to do the same thing with me by having the commissioner say we should start over from turn 1, and then that way Brayden can get all the, like, can have a second chance at winning this, basically, because we have to start everything all over again. And I was just like thinking, like, oh my god, like if he actually did that, then holy damn, this guy should not be allowed in any draft leagues, honestly, because that has got to be the most filthiest way to get a win, honestly. It kind of made me question his accolades as well, because he also, like, has in his description the amount of leagues he's won, and it shows like he had like 28 at the time. Kind of makes me wonder how on earth does he get all those championship titles. But honestly, yeah, like, who knows how many people he also had to piss off by having them do this stuff, honestly. After seeing this, then more than ever, I was just glad I never played Brayden, because I didn't want to have to, like, you know, put myself in that situation, especially because Brayden is actually a ridiculously good battler. The problem is just that he's also a dickhead, honestly, unfortunately, because, you know, like, he I don't know, like, it almost seems like throughout the season he never seemed to show any signs of being a jerk, honestly, but it only seems to happen with me, honestly. But then I also came to think, you know what, he does beat all of these people, you know, like, very dominantly, actually. And he only starts problems with me, and I'm actually giving him, like, a run for his money, making the matches close and whatnot. Kind of makes me wonder if he himself is just, you know, like, one of those people that just can't accept taking a loss and feels the need to, like, play as dirty as possible to actually make sure he doesn't lose and whatnot. And I know what you're thinking, but didn't he lose to Sventhun earlier in the last season? He did, but let's be real here. Sventhun is the commissioner of this league, and obviously, if he didn't complain to him if he complained to him, actually, he probably would not have come back for the second season. In fact, now that I think about it, now I think that was probably his plan all along, was for him to return for the second season. So therefore, he didn't complain. But now that he's here, and now he's battling me, who did give him a run for his money last season, is now basically trying to use his dirty tricks to actually get what he wants and make sure that he wins this match. This is all unfortunately superstition, like I was gonna say superstitions. I meant to say superstitions. But anyways, yeah. So unfortunately, I can't really prove any of this to be true though. But that's just my suspicions on Brayden right now, especially with this video that I found on YouTube. Obviously, I'll leave it in the description below if you want to see it for yourselves. But yeah. Bottom line is that I'm not gonna play Brayden. Obviously, if I make the playoffs and he makes the playoffs, and if I have to play him again, whether it be in the semis or in the finals, just know that I'm not gonna play this guy again. And if you guys want my honest opinion, this guy should not even return to the PAC League. So any commissioner, like, if the commissioners of the PAC League are watching this, I just hope that they don't bring Brayden back for another season, because honestly, that guy's a bad influence, and he's kind of a jerk, honestly. And I came back for this season to have a good time, not for this guy to be giving me headaches and accusing me of shit, honestly, because that's terrible. And what else do I gotta say? I know I have some other stuff to say, but I'm just, like, really like flustered, because I really want to give my actual thoughts, but I also don't want this video to come off like as a hate video, you know. It's just, I'm just saying things how they were. And the fact that Brayden is a jerk, that is true. It's not a matter of me trying to hate. No, that's just a fact, honestly. The guy is evil. I said it in the chat too. That guy is evil, especially with how malintencionado he is. It's like, he doesn't want to play things by the book and just wants to make sure he gets things his way. He tried accusing me of that way, which is kind of like, bro, I didn't even come back for this league so that I'd be dealing with people like yourself. I was trying to, like, just have some more matches to showcase on my channel. That's what I make these, that's what I do these battles for content, basically. And this is not the content I want to deliver to my audience, obviously. But what choice do I have now? since the commissioners decided to bring you back for another damn season. Like, God. But anyways, oh yeah, so any commissioner that runs a draft league, I know I have no say in any of these leagues or in any of your guys' leagues, but if you guys want a very, like, you know, a suggestion from someone like myself, don't let Braden in your guys' league, because that guy is gonna probably play dirty in some capacity, and is just gonna try to make things look like he's winning, honestly. And because I think that's the only thing that this guy has, really, honestly, is like, I think he's too prideful and a bit arrogant. Like, he just likes to make sure that he wins everything, and if he's not winning, then he's just gonna be doing what it takes to make sure that doesn't turn out to be the way. I think I've said that already numerous times, but yeah, I feel the need to repeat it so you guys know what you guys are up against. Because, man, I did not think... I took a break from draft leagues and come back to this. It's just like, oh my god, it kind of makes me question why the hell I even came back. But I really just did it because I like to... I want to do things in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, obviously, before Generation 9 comes in. I think that was another reason why I decided to start getting into draft leagues again for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, was because unlike the ORAS period where it got like 2 years for people to enjoy, this game actually only has like a year, basically. Because this year, the Scarlet and Violet games are going to come out, and, you know, I'm left with very little time now, but yeah. So yeah, guys, just watch out for Braden, honestly. If you guys see him, I think the way this guy can reveal his true colors is if you're literally putting him in a position where he can lose. Because, like I said before, he doesn't complain when he's winning, but when he's losing, he does start problems with people, but he really tries to play it off as if he's not doing anything wrong, you know? And that's incredibly despicable, in my opinion. Like, the man's not even transparent. He's actually quite deceitful, if anything. Which is, yeah, in my opinion, it's hella deplorable. And honestly, that should pretty much qualify as somebody not being, or that should qualify as somebody being blacklisted from a league, honestly. Especially if it's a league where people are supposed to have fun and whatnot. Because this guy certainly isn't making that experience any fun, honestly. But anyways, with all that said, yeah, so unfortunately, that's the match, or at least that was what I was able to record from our match with Braden. Like I said before, I hopefully don't have to play him again, because this time I'm not going to play him again, obviously. Because, again, I'm not here to have a miserable time. And plus, losing to a guy who's good at the game but is also, like, a despicable specimen? Like, oh, no, no, no. You guys know that I don't feel very, very good with losing to people like that, honestly. I'd rather, I don't know. Let's see, who do I not well, it's because I just don't like to lose to people who are evil, period. I don't know, but yeah, I'm not gonna play that guy again, period. That's gonna be it for this video, and I apologize for this being the kind of video you guys have to see, but it's because just, you know, I kind of had to like get this out there, obviously. And plus, this video was gonna have to be shown anyways because I needed to show something for my channel, and that recording was all I had, basically. And not to mention, I kind of just didn't feel comfortable with Braden just doing whatever the heck he wants, honestly. So basically, I'm just making this video also as a way to kind of just warn you people about this guy. Watch out, like, observe his behavior, and keep an eye on when he wins and when he's running the risk of losing, because that's when he's gonna actually show his true colors. With all that said, I'll catch you guys for a much better video that isn't like this, obviously. For now, just take it easy and have yourselves a good one.